If you want to know the best skills in early to mid game, you are in the right place. I've spent dozens of hours hunting these 11 skills that will give you more versatility in combat, such as additional elemental attacks, multi-hitting skills to easily break enemies, or broken passives that will make your XP and money farming runs godly. Like for example, basic elemental masteries that will give you more coverage when exploiting the elemental weaknesses of enemies. The Wildfire, Icicle, and the Thunderbird Mastery will obviously give you the chance to cast fire, ice, and lightning damage to targets. These skills provide value for players who did not play as scholars as their initial job. Your first scholar companion in the game, who is Alexia, can only cast lightning and dark AoE damage. So these basic elemental skills will at least cover the missing elements that she is lacking. The Sweeping Gale Mastery, on the other hand, is pretty useful when breaking enemies, as you can easily deal 2 hits of wind damage on a target. You can either slot all of these elemental skills to your other staff or tome users so you can help Alexia break enemies much faster, or let Alexia use all of them instead so she can be a full-blooded Archmage. Get all 4 skills in the town of Rippletide by fast traveling to Theatropolis, then access Theatropolis Plains, and finally access the coastal region, and then head to Rippletide Coast where you can find the entrance of the town. The elderly woman in this town can give you all 4 elemental masteries in one spot, so make sure to grab all of them. Just in case you are not aware of the save and reloading trick, you can just save your game before trying to entreat NPCs. So if you fail, you can just load your save and try again. So yes, even items that have a lower than 5% acquisition rate can be yours at the very start of the game. Another elemental mastery is entering the spotlight, which is the Shadowbind Mastery that can not only deal dark damage to a target, but also reduces its speed for 2 turns. Speed is everything in turn-based games, so skills that can slow down enemy speed are simply a must-have, especially if you are building yourself a party that revolves around speed. Like building Kelsus, for example, early on, because he already has access to speed buffs while your other party members can debuff targets with slow is a great strategy early on. Head to the town of Valor to get this skill, and you can do so by heading to Wishvale Trail, West Emberglow Wilds, and then Valor Trail to find the entrance of the town. Head to the main boulevard section of the area, and the Indomitable Dancer sells the skill. By the way, I kept on suggesting companions already, so just in case you haven't got all of the earliest companions in the game, this video will give you all of their locations while giving you an idea of how to use every one of them. Link in the description or find it by clicking the card here. The Double Slam Mastery will allow its user to deal tome damage to random foes twice. But hey Samurai, why would I want to have a skill that deals damage on random enemies? I hear you asking, my dear viewer. Well, for example, if you use this type of skill on a boss or any solo enemy that is weak to a tome damage, you will have yourself an effective skill for breaking. Always remember that any multi-hitting skill has an edge in this game, since the more weakness enemies you deal on a target, the faster the target breaks. Get this awesome skill in the town of Theatropolis, where you can access by heading to Wishvale Trail, North Plains, and then Theatropolis Plains to access the town's entrance. Head to the town's library and find the Burly Scholar who has the item. Pop the save and reload trick, and this skill mastery is yours very early in the game. The Burly Scholar also offers the History of Orstera, which is one of the best early tomes in the game. And there are a lot of broken items to get early on, like this one. So if you are interested in that, I recently covered the earliest 47 broken gear you need to have, which is linked in the description, or find it by clicking the card here. Another elemental mastery is entering the space, and the Blizzard Mastery is a mid-game spell that deals ice damage to all targets twice, which is very powerful in early to mid-game. Slot this to your Alexia so she can damage and break enemies in a pinch, allowing her to cover more elements. You will be getting this spell in the town of Flamegrace, which can be accessed by heading to Emberglow Wilds, West Emberglow Wilds, and then accessing Flamegrace Wilds. And then you can find the entrance of the town. And of course, the next step is heading to the Flamegrace Cathedral to find the Religious Scholar, which has the item. This town is considered a mid-game town already and hosts a lot of most broken equipment and skills early on. But the crazy thing is, a lot of players are skipping to this town at the very start of the game just to get the goodies and get overpowered early. And if you are getting value so far, subscribe to the channel. Liking the video and engaging in the comments helps me more than you can imagine. The Luminescence Mastery hits like an absolute freight train, dealing heavy light damage to all enemies. And again, another good spell for your early scholars and apothecaries. If you pick the scholar as a starting class, you'll be dealing huge amount of elemental damage with Alexia. So now, you are seeing a trend where elemental damage is really busted, especially in the early game. So either selecting the scholar or the merchant job will simply give you the best start possible. Get this spell by heading to the town of Cragspear, which can be accessed through West Valor Trail and then Cragspear Pass. To find the entrance of the town, find the priest preaching love in the Cragspear Chapel and this spell will be yours. But what if you want to break enemies that are weak to light and blast them off with Luminescence to deal the most serious damage possible? The Virtuous Light Mastery deals light damage to a target twice. So once the enemy breaks, you can cast Luminescence to blast the enemy into existence. Get this breaking spell in the same scholar where we got our Blizzard Mastery in the town of Flames Grace. To top it all off, the Elemental Break Mastery will allow you to lower the target's elemental defense for 2 turns, and I cannot stress how powerful this is when used properly. You'll be doing a lot of damage to broken targets if the caster is built properly. Since the duration of the debuff is limited, make sure to cast this skill before the enemy breaks. So when they break, your elemental casters like Alexia can nuke enemies out. Get this top tier mastery from the Elderly Cleric located in the Cathedral of Flames Grace. Now the Thundering Cleave is a beast of a mastery, as it will allow your axe user to deal a whopping 4 hits of axe damage to random targets. And remember, we can abuse this type of skills when fighting bosses or single targets since they will be receiving all of the hits without any RNG involved. Even if you use this skill on a group of enemies weak to the axe weapon type, you will still be getting value from the multiple weakness damage. Since Tia is one of my frontliners as of the moment, she can break enemies fast with this skill, since she has the full swing skill that hits all enemies with axe damage. Or perhaps, Macy and Fen can benefit from this skill since both of these characters only has the Twin Bash skill that can only deal 2 hits of axe damage on a single target. And treat the Thoughtful Man located in a house near the entrance of the Flame Grace Cathedral to get this item. The Angelic Ward Mastery is hands down one of the great passives for your tanks. It gives the user a 25% chance to nullify damage when taking damage. So Viator's tanking capabilities will be more overpowered if you have this skill, allowing him to skip direct damage entirely. Just in case you haven't noticed, enemies tend to spam attacks on a single turn, so you do have a 25% chance to nullify each of the said attacks when his parry skill is not active or already expired. You will be thrilled to see this guy in action with the Angelic Ward equipped, especially when he is fighting a group of enemies. Get this awesome skill from the Patient Cleric in Flame Grace Cathedral. Now I don't need to emphasize how extra experience can be valuable to your overall progress. For players who loves to grind, this skill is simply a must-have. Get this nice passive from the retired military leader and you will never go wrong on this one, and it will save you a lot of time in the process. I firmly believe that the Monster Magnet Mastery is the skill that you should be getting as soon as possible. This passive will allow enemy encounters to happen much more frequently, allowing you to grind XP, money, and JP a whole lot efficiently, saving you tons and tons of time in the process. So yes, Monster Magnet works perfectly with extra experience obviously. But Samurai, I don't want any more XP since I am scared to be overpowered and ruin the game. But I badly want to farm JP instead. No worries about that as I got you covered, my dear viewer. Get the eerie statue in Nomo's house, place the statue in your town, and you're done. You will not be getting XP after this, and the Monster Magnet will help you farm more enemies while giving you lots of JP and with 0 XP. Get this awesome passive by contending the Punching Bag NPC located in Cragspear Slums, and your farming runs will never be the same. But what if you just started a game and want to know the best beginner tips? This video will teach you everything you need to know, so click on it and I will catch you on the next one.